Did it work? Are we live?
Are we live? I don't know. Are we live? Someone tell
We
us. Are
are.
we live?
I think I think we
We
are. I
think.
just got
We
to
don't
get
know.
rid of this.
We're out of
I got to get rid
practice.
of this thing, and I think we're in there. It says right there we are good to go.
Well, I believe
It
it.
was a that was a big deal for me. Just clicking around buttons, thinking, let's see if I can figure out this internet thing. And hey,
Look at you.
it
You did it.
worked.
You did it. So proud of you, Rando.
Yeah, proud of myself, to be honest. But it's been a couple weeks, Selena. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Life is good. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been quiet, but it's been good. Yeah. How about you?
We have I've been well, busy, beautiful out here in California. I'm currently stoking in this garage right now. It's got to be 400 degrees in here, but uh, we will survive.
Sacrifices.
Sacrifices, that's for sure. But yeah, we have been absent of news. Just I guess we did get some recruit news. Hawthorne is
Mhm.
a cat.
Mhm.
Surprising, I think, to some that he got snatched up by a Pope. As you know, on the back end of the roster, curious what they said to him as far as playing time goes. But I think a project, but a kid who's got a lot of talent, and depth is
Mhm.
never a bad thing. So if we're going to play a deep rotation and try to get kids 20, 25 minutes a game, um, and I think there's also like Reese coming from Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
But another awesome get. Bringing we lose a Lexington kid, we gain one. Um, but he's again another project piece. We've got a lot of talent, a lot of potential. But somebody
Mhm.
who probably going to be on the roster for a couple of years, at least another one. Um, but and then the big news we're pending right now is the Otega Oweh news, which should come shoot within the next 24 hours. I think it's 8 o'clock East Coast time. I think he's got till midnight tomorrow. So
Uh
um,
huh.
we shall see how that goes. How are you feeling about it? Because where I've been. If we
Oh, I know.
go
I
back a
know where
month or
you've
so. We go
been.
back a month or so. I'm not in the I told you
Yeah.
so business, but I am saying like the tea leaves, the tea was there, as they say.
Um, I mean, obviously, I want him to stay,
Wait, I
right?
forgot about
Obviously, I
this. I
want
forgot about
him.
this.
Oh shit!
We
Hold on,
gotta
let
do
me
our
pour
thing.
mine. Hold on. I didn't pour it yet because I didn't know when you were gonna
It'll
do it, and I'd spill it knowing
it'll
me.
help you. It'll help us
Also,
think better.
if anyone pays attention to my Twitter, you know that everything's sponsored by Patron. So,
Oh, I thought I almost cheers, teammate.
cheers. Blah, blah.
Okay.
God, that always sucks.
Okay.
It's fine.
Yep. Now that we are officially started the show, how do you feel about Otega Oweh? Do you think he comes back?
um, Obviously, I want him to come back, right? He's Otega Oweh, right? He brings something different to this team. Um, Next year's roster, even it would be his team, but at the end of the day, I just want the kid to be happy, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want him to be happy, and I just want him to. Yes, with that I am Tavo. I want him to go see his dreams. Like, he's got brothers that play pro sports, and I'm sure that kind of creates like a little bit of a pressure thing in his head a little bit. You know what I mean? Because like his family's kind of like expecting it. Um, that's how I feel. I think the team is fine either way. I think Pope has built a really good roster, but he would definitely add like the extra oomph to the team.
Yeah, but agreed. Like you know, there's people who are like, hey, not saying it's not a big deal, but just like if he chooses to stay in the NBA, we still got a great roster, which is true. But I think there is
Mm-hmm.
a difference between what the roster is now without Otega Oweh versus with him. We're a legit championship contender competing for a number one seed in the tournament. Like I think having that piece to come back again, not the same player, but I think the same sort of impact of a Walter Payton Jr. deciding to come back to Florida next year, right? Like that kind
Right.
of goal play with the experience in the system. And he was the one who pushed them past those games where they were like on the cusp of losing, and he makes some big shots. Again, not the same player, but the same type of mindset where you can give the ball to Otega and say, "Buddy, I need you to get one." We've seen him do it. We've seen him win games in a Kentucky jersey. So I do think it is a substantial loss if he doesn't come back. What's your gut say? Like right now, BBN is crashing. It went from
Mm-hmm.
last week, still telling me 0%
I think he
chance.
comes back. I think he's back.
You think he comes
That's what I
back?
think. I mean, to be fair, we did this last year with J Rob. Like he announced like the last second that he's coming. Right? I mean, like everyone did the same thing. Everyone had already wrote him off already. Said he was leaving. Um, and all this other stuff, and then came back last minute, and BBN lost our minds. You
Yeah,
think he's done?
I don't honestly. If I still had to,
Really?
um, yeah, I keep true to the fact I think he returns. My I think the frustration that I had was in reading in the announcement and some of the interviews he was doing, the things that are on social media. My my problem with when I read the messaging was he is going all out for this thing. This is not a simple like I'm just going to get information and coming back. And
Right.
everybody's like,
No,
there's
he
no
was.
way.
Yeah.
And we see that. Like the people tell me there's a zero
Mm-hmm.
percent chance he's coming back. Stupid decision. There's no way he makes that choice. I think that was ignorant to say because clearly, I mean, from the new haircut, like everything, his like he went straight professional. Like he's like, I am going,
Mm-hmm.
I'm chasing this thing. I'm chasing my dream. Like the
You should
the
put the chat, by the way, on the screen because it's kind of going off right now. Just
can you
saying.
do it because I'm
I.
having the same daggum issues. Can you overlay it? Because if I overlay it, I think it just
Oh, it
does
works.
anything show up? Oh, it
Yeah,
goes. Okay,
I
boom.
see it. I
Awesome.
was like, I
So
can't
for
do
some
that, but
reason,
I'm not the host.
yeah, I can't actually see it. See
Can you
Braden
see it
right
on your
now.
side? I can see it on my side.
I can see it. I can see it now. I just but the 0% chance thing. See, that's right. It like it. If there was 0% chance, we'd be hearing some announcement right now. Like he's in Brooklyn. Like there was all this talk about the Brooklyn it was like motorcyclesports.net or something like that, like a thing I have never heard about. And
Mhm.
they were talking about Brooklyn was very interested in him and a potential guaranteed contract. And screenshots were going out of that, and then someone found the source, and then it was like, okay, let's quiet down a little bit. And then I see on Otega's Instagram, he's in Brooklyn right now doing a workout.
Yes.
So like, did they just make this article up because they knew where he was going to be, or is there actually some like substance to it? Um, Anyways, I think he's going up to the 11th hour to get information. I
Mhm.
do think his agent, because of we talked about it before, he's got family. Like his brothers are professionals. His
Right.
oldest brother, I think, is a stud DN for the Ravens. So like they've gone through this process before. I think they know that they have a guaranteed at Kentucky. So why rush coming back? Right? We know there's 3 to 4 million guaranteed,
Mhm.
and if they can just go to a workout and see like, hey, maybe we convince a GM or a scout or something to be like, yes, we have faith in this dude. He's got the right mindset. He's got enough talent. We can groom him into a great player,
Mhm.
or a great. He's already a great player, but a great NBA player.
Yeah.
Why not take these last workouts? But my gut, if I had to like no kidding, put money down on it, my gut says we get a return announcement tomorrow, and all of the kind of BBN Twitter craziness and like people kind of starting to lose their minds is all for naught, and it's just because we're impatient, and it's not surprising. Like this isn't the first. It's not, and it's definitely not gonna be the last time. The Big Blue Nation Twitter sphere just starts like collapsing on itself because of these
Hey, it's at this point we
nuggets.
crash on a weekly basis. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Um,
Braden, you slow down. I gotta catch up.
yeah, I stopped
2-week
reading.
contract for G League. 1/10. Hogball, what are you doing? No shot. Yo, don't you know we had 20+ mil, homie? We can pay whatever we want to pay away. What are you talking about?
No, we have 200 million. If you listen to Pope,
Oh,
he said
I forgot 200
200
million. I
million.
forgot. My bad.
Oh, well, I'm saying that's what's reported. 4 million is like the top of what is, and I agree. I think that's excessive. I do think there's at least three out there for him. Um, Not to mention all the other things that he's going to own every endorsement deal he wants in Kentucky if he comes back. Um,
Oh yeah, for sure.
uh,
Listen, I know. Here's the one thing about Oweh. That jumper needs to be rebuilt completely.
It's not, but that's the thing. That's not going to happen. I think that's part of the calculus too. You're not going to completely take that hitch out of his jump shot. You might get a quicker release out of it, but again, it's not gonna. He's not
Why can't you rebuild his jump shot though?
in a year. Like you expect, you want him to completely change the mechanics of that jump shot, get it to go in at a 38% clip from three,
I
to
mean,
increase his draft stock. I just don't see that happening. That's like you do that your freshman year and hope by your junior senior year you figure that out.
I don't know though. Like people in the NBA do stuff all the time, right? And he wants to be in the NBA. Like he's a high level college football player. Athletes are able to fix stuff like that relatively quickly. I mean, I agree with you. The hitch needs to go, and he needs to stop bringing it across his body because it's really bad. Like it does the swoo, the swoo.
Yeah, he jays it up, like he like brings it up
Yeah,
and it comes kind of across his face.
yeah.
I
What?
just I Yeah, see, I see that. That's the one piece I agree with Braden
Not
on
right
is that they
now,
can't
no.
change that.
But and it
They
still needs
can't
to be
change
done
that.
though. We've talked about this.
Yes, but again, like if he was going to start changing mechanics, would he have not have done that like in front of the NBA scouts? Here's what I think. Like the NBA is all about spacing. Right? It's spacing.
Mm-hmm.
You see Russell Westbrook. That boy can't shoot consistently at all. He gets his ass wide open. Cason Wallace for OKC finds a way to get wide open jump shots because of the offense they run. If you can get
Mm-hmm.
open, he can make that shot. He's shown it, right? So
It's
I'm
just
not
so
like, oh,
slow though.
right, but he's got this much space, he'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I'm
Yeah,
not
but
I don't
okay, in
say like
college it's fine.
Otega
In the
Oweh is
NBA though,
never
that'll
going to
get
be the.
rocked every time.
But here's the thing, like Otega Oweh is never going to be a player who is going to go like Kobe Bryant, like tween, pull up and like
Oh
cash
yeah,
in the
no,
face, right? Where he's
never.
no, that's not going to be him. So it's about he's always going to be I don't think he can be a true 3-and-D guy like Cam Williams potentially is going to be for in the NBA because that he's got a very smooth jump shot. He's great. But you saw at the combine, the reason why once he got that official invite, I was very, very concerned was because you knew he was going to impress. He's an athletic freak. He works his ass off. So like defensively, he's all over the place. He's going to show out. Like he's got a competitive spirit.
Mhm.
He's other people in his life that are professional athletes, right? So he's gonna have to battle, and we
Right.
saw it. So I don't know. Like I think if you look at it, my argument against him not coming back is does his draft stock really shoot up that much after 1 year? Because if it's just the hitch in his jump shot they're concerned about, I don't think that's gonna change significantly. Um, Now, if they just want to see if he can be consistent, that might be different. Like, hey, you had a great year at Kentucky, significantly better
Mhm.
than your 2 years at Oklahoma. We want to see if you can do it again. Now, maybe that's the thing that brings him back, and he's like, okay, bet I'm going to show you that I can not even do it like I did last year, but do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen too many ugly ass jump shots in the league. If they're going in at a 38%, 40% clip, I don't think people care, right?
I
Like
mean, yeah, but
Sean shot with both hands. He shot with both hands.
okay, but what other aspects of those players have with terrible jump shots that Oweh might not have? Or does he match up with them?
Well, I mean, Sean was just an athletic freak when he was with Phoenix, and I think with Dallas. But again, like Kyle Anderson, that's an ugly ass jump shot, and he is literally made fun of playing in the league for being slow. They call him slow mo. He's in the league making millions for Memphis. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm arguing against myself right now, but I do think he comes back. But I will not 100% be shocked that if he stays. I won't be shocked whatsoever if he just decides to stay because you take the bite of the apple when you can. And
Mhm.
coming back next year has a lot of risk. Yeah, it's guaranteed $3 million, $4 million, depending on what you say, if that's accurate. But it's also one fall from tearing away a wrist ligament and you don't play the rest of the season, right? I know you can't play that way as an athlete. Like I know you can't go into it thinking like being scared that you're going to get hurt, but it's got to be
Right.
on the back of his mind, right?
I would think so. I mean, yeah, that's a consideration you always have to take into account, right? As an athlete doing anything at all. Like the
Yeah,
risk of the injury, especially when you're a high level athlete, the risk of injury is always there. So you have to take that stuff into consideration. I mean, he could get hurt in Bay workout, right? That's stuff that just happens. Like
yeah,
AP for an ACL doing a layup in practice. Like shit happens.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
So
that's upset. I agree. Like I agree with that. Like you can't go in there. You can't play scared. That's when you actually get hurt. You can't go in there thinking. And I mean, shoot, we saw this man bounce headfirst off the floor and got right back up in that Tennessee game, right? That and one dunk
mhm.
he had face
Saw his
first
whole
into the
face get
hardwood,
busted open
and
too.
yeah, took an elbow and he's right back. Yeah, so like he's a tough son of a bitch. So like, but again,
He is.
there's certain things that that you can't play through, like JQ
Right.
blowing out CL, right? It's like, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I am very, very nervous. My gut tells me he comes back. But I would again, I just won't be surprised if the announcement goes, "Hey, BB, and thanks, I
Yeah.
appreciate you, but I'm staying in the league and I'm gonna bet on
He's
myself."
just another guy if he leaves this year. JD, I really hate that phrase, just another guy. That was done around a little bit this year. I get it, but I still hate it.
Well, I would
No,
like for
Braden,
him to
I
mean
agree
it,
because
what
he's
he means by that, like just another like, uh, because
I don't know. What do you mean by that,
the,
JD? I know
the,
you're fishing, but what do you mean?
yeah, like just another guy, like, hey, he's a one and done type. We're used to that. He'll kind
Probably,
of
probably so. Yeah, I
that
can.
I could, yeah, I could agree with that if he, but it's just like, another guy like a, depth piece. Like he's got too many great memories, and on Pope's inaugural team to just be kind of
I
like
think he means the
forgotten about.
the like one and done type of thing. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't think about that.
yeah. I mean,
My man.
but that's true. Again, the best player in the league right now. Where was Joker drafted?
I
Second
don't
round.
know, to be fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like you never know. And if you truly believe in yourself, and he thinks he can overcome some of these deficiencies that the NBA is telling him he has,
Yeah.
yeah, you stay in. Uh,
That makes sense too. I think he can work on his passing if he comes back to college too. He does.
yeah, I mean,
I mean, he passed like good, but like not like I think you would expect him to pass if that makes sense. Like there are things he can
yeah,
work on for sure.
yeah, no, I agree. I see, I focus on guys who are in the league, and I know the age is a factor in potential. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna look this up real quick.
We're looking up,
Um,
and Brett and I agree. Otega is a great college player. Like he is built for the college game for
yeah,
sure.
Nikola Jokovic was drafted in 2014 as the 41st overall pick. He's now considered the best player in the league. And I'm not saying that's what Otega Oweh, but I'm just like the whole draft stock thing. Like if you get
Mm-hmm.
drafted in this spot, you kind of get forgotten about. You. I don't, I don't put it in. You get drafted. Now you're in the league, right? Get in the building. That's the biggest thing. Can you get your feet in the building? You get in the building, you show them what you got, and you mesmerize. Then you get up. I mean, you look at Reed, the third pick last year, got
Yeah.
0 time in the playoffs, right? So your draft stock is based off potential, and your age in the NBA. The way they do things is very unique, and I don't particularly understand it. Um, you know, you look at like not a big fan of his, but Dalton Connect got drafted later, but was probably a more polished, ready to be NBA player now. But he's older, so like he got
Yeah,
delayed.
he's got a couple years under his belt too, though, so that makes a difference.
So like they're drafting for multiple years down the road. Um, yeah, I would. Okay, so let's say Otega doesn't get back. And or who do you think our top guard go-to person is? Or I guess
Jalen
the
Lowe.
backcourt. What's that backcourt
Jalen
look
Lowe.
like?
Lowe.
Low and
Jalen.
Zell, probably the 1-2.
Yeah. And I would throw
Colin at the
Jasper Johnson in
3.
there as well for sure. Jasper's gonna be a problem this year. Like I know he's like, oh, he's a freshman. No, that kid is so good. But I think
I very
Jalen
much agree with you.
Jalen could
Yeah,
definitely
I very
be.
much. Yeah, I think he is going to be special. Jasper Johnson is an absolute bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Probably playing the backup point guard spot, I would imagine. I guess it would be Jalen Lowe, Zell,
Mm-hmm.
Colin. Then you got what I don't know, Andres at the 4 starting, or if they maybe go um, BG, and then you got JQ at the 5 if he's healthy, or um, that's it. Or no, I'm sorry, yeah, Mo at the 4, and then probably BG at the 5, and then
Mm-hmm.
JQ at the 5. They kind of play that rotation around
Yeah.
as JQ gets healthy. So still very. I guess what I'm getting at is still a very like talented roster, but we don't know
Mm-hmm.
out Colin, who is like the experience, you know, trust to go get a bucket, be like a multiple level scorer type guy. 'Cause I think Colin's had the
Um.
biggest jump
I
from what we
mean,
saw last year.
Colin has a potential for sure. We just didn't see it a lot last year, right? But I think if you look just back on previous seasons and like what players were asked to do, I mean, I would say Jalen's probably number one go to if Otega doesn't come back for sure. Just because of what I think he's been asked to do as a player, he doesn't get rattled. Um, and yeah, I would say Denzel and then Jasper my top three. Hot ball.
See, what did that say? You got no DJ Wagner?
Only thought I'm three J Wagner. I
3, yeah.
mean,
Come on.
really?
We you forget we saw
Really?
him play for us. Now that being said, as soon as Selena, you were there. As soon as Ruff Arena booed DJ and booed Adu, I knew we were going to lose that game. Like you can't. Like they should have gotten more respect. We're not even going to talk about it. We're just going to brush over that. I don't want to even get into it. But Hogboy, I would like for you to put in this chat, put your genuine answer. You agree with Cal essentially choosing DJ Wagner over Boogie Flan, and give me like your like legit answer, because I
Ooh.
agree with this experience. I tweeted out during the NCAA tournament, Cal has to find a way to get DJ Wagner back on this roster because of how he played in the stretch against St. John's, and like he like clutch defensive plays, clutch buckets. Um, and unfortunately, he also shit the bed late in the game in the Sweet 16. But I'm curious about that. I don't want to make this an Arkansas show, but curious what your thoughts, legit thoughts about that. Doug the Grave when they got booed. Yeah, I agree. I chose DJ in April over a shot at Boogie in May. I guess it's fair, but you can be, Kentucky and actually like fill all 15 roster spots if you don't have to, only have 8 on your roster, like Cal likes to do. Okay, so again, going off the narrative, Otega doesn't come back. What's the ceiling of this team as it stands right now? Stan, what do you think?
Um. Well, you obviously, if he doesn't come back, you also lose somebody that can get to the rim easily, right? So that changes kind of the identity of the team and what a game plan would be. Um. So you're not gonna have a tag of like a guaranteed get to the rim type of guy. Like at least, well, you do, but not like Otega, right? Like he's different. He's special in that regard. So I think the team overall is still extremely talented. Definitely a lot of good pieces there for sure. It's it's just you lose some things. You have to change some things up. I think if you don't come back.
Yeah, there's obviously an on-court hindrance. I think we still are, what we did last year in a SEC that was more competitive on paper than it
Mm-hmm.
should be this year. Um,
Yeah.
Very, NCAA tournament was tough, and you have Kansas and Arkansas as 7, 8 seeds. The national championship is not even the is a lower seed or higher seed, I guess you could say. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were kind of chalk all the way through. Like those teams, those top teams made it to the Final Four. So
Yeah.
with this team being more athletic, which you would say equals more talented this year, Elite Eight, maybe even make a run to the Final Four is very, very possible. Um, I think the thing that we will potentially have to like give some grace to is Colin Chandler and Trent Noah are essentially like the voice in the locker room from last year. Like they're the ones
Mm-hmm.
that tie this thing together. So on the court, they're trying to educate these new transfers and the freshmen of when Pope says this or when the staff says this, this is what he means. This is what he wants to see. When they're in the film room, this is what he wants to kind of anticipate what to be the coach on the floor. The way Lamont Butler was quickly picked that up last year, and really the way J. Rob was. You saw the locker room presence he had in some of those journey clips. I think Otega has the bigger voice if he were to come back. Like I think his
Yeah.
voice more weight because he's been there, done that. Yes, Colin Chandler was on the team, Trent Noah was on the team. They both had big games, made big shots. But again, Otega Oweh, this is his team. So
Mm-hmm.
if he comes back next year, I think some of these big time games when we go play St. John's, when we play Indiana, the early non-conference games, you can go in there with expectation to walk out with the win, to leave the court with the W. Maybe that expectation isn't as high if you don't have you're still trying to figure out who the locker room leader is, right? They're still trying to translate how Coach Pope coaches, like what the X's and O's means. When so here's a good example. I think when we heard Mark Pope and AB talk about like championship chest, like when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, they're talking about like play with heart, like go in there, play with heart. And then Pope talks about on his Monday show, he's like, no, I want you to like play fucking defense with I want you to put your body on his body, and I want you to move your feet. I
Pope
want you.
would not say fucking rando. Okay.
He will say bullshit though. I seen him. I seen that. Um, but like so like it's I think those sort of things where like you know those that translation it's a loose example, but that, like that translation of what certain things mean, um, what it equals on the court. So I think that's what I think him coming back again. Going back to being the show, that like Walter Clayton type presence, that returner of knowing who the leader of the team is, knowing who's getting the ball at the end of the game, and knowing that if the team isn't playing to the standard they need to be, who that voice is going to be. Because if it's all constantly coming from the coach, it gets stale. If it's coming from a leader within the locker room, like I think that means a bit more.
No, I would agree. I would agree. Um, how do you feel about BG? He seems to be making a lot of noise about him being a leader in the 2 year plan.
Listen, I will stay on the train of this team will like hit a new gear, a whole different level. Like no shit, Pandora's box unlocked if BG plays to like 80% of his potential that we saw last year. The jump shot, if that plays, if he can play physical around the rim, and really if he can just stay in the game, right? Like mentally stay in the game and not lose his mind when things get a little spicy in conference play.
It's a little zesty.
Yeah. If he can figure that out on top of like the actual like the extension of his game and playing that stretch 4, stretch 5 spot, I'm very, very excited for BG. Him coming back next year, knowing he was going to have to compete for starting minutes at the 4, at the 5. Again, him kind of betting on himself, vice going somewhere else, and wanting to play for Pope is massive. I think we look back. I know that the chat will probably start blowing up, especially Brayton, because he won't agree with this. But I think we look back and go, BG was him coming back this year was bigger than landing JQ. I believe that. Just of like, I understand JQ is a 5-star lottery pick type talent, but like for this team and what Pope wants to do, and again coming back from being on last year's roster, I think BG has a bigger impact than JQ does long term, season wise, and which translates into hopefully deep postseason success.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that, Jake, as far as being bigger than JQ, because JQ is top 5 talent easily. Like, he's special. Now, it is good. There's another big man that's coming back that played under Pope before, as far as that goes. So he knows those expectations. But I don't. Better than JQ that's quite a statement, Randall. That's quite a statement.
And again, better than JQ. I don't know. I want to say that. I'm saying a more important return. Like I think we say like he had a bigger impact on the team than JQ did. Because I love JQ, and I think we're not going to have a rebounding problem. We're not going to have a toughness problem. And we're not going to have
nor a dunking problem.
Yes, exactly. We're not going to have like this dude is going to be searching for body bags on a weekly basis. Every Tuesday and Saturday, he's going to try to put his nuts on someone's forehead multiple times. It's going to happen.
Okay.
Don't look at me like that.
I didn't look at you like anything. I disagreed with you.
But again, he is, unless there's an extension to his game that makes a drastic turn. Like I think he shot less than 20% from 3 last year.
I think it was like 18, and it was not good. Not good.
So like when we talk about being multiple in offense, that is not him. He is a hell of a defender. He could be all defensive SEC. He could be the best defender in college basketball if he comes back healthy. We saw that tape at Arizona. And I know you've highlighted on previous shows that have like you've talked about how good he is defensively and his just natural instinct to go block the ball. Um, but as far as I think we can get a defensive effort from BG as well as like some big time offensive output. Like if you tell me BG gets a block and a half a game, he's averaging 2-3 assists a game, and he's dropping 8-10 points a game on average, with the ability to do like a 15-16 point game from time to time. I just think that really really unlocks this team.
No, no, I agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, I'm just curious how it
Um,
plays out. Hold on,
I,
Cam. Someone else I'm considering. I don't. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how she'd
so
go
so
after though.
basically,
Like who's gonna leave?
If Owe leaves, does
Hmm.
he go after someone who? Yeah, because I mean there will essentially be another transfer portal period, I guess, right? With these guys who return.
Hmm.
Um, now I don't know if there's a caveat of like they have to return to their team. I know they entered the transfer portal, so maybe I haven't heard a lot of news about RJ Lewis. I don't know that we particularly go after him. I think that would be really tough. Like, oh, we know we have a spot for Oweh on the team right now. Again, I wouldn't. If there's someone who entered the
Right.
draft and was potential NBA talent, I think you welcome them on the team as long as they're a good locker room fit, like the personalities they're gonna match that sort of thing. Um, but with Otega Oweh, there is a definitive spot on the roster for him. I don't know that.
Yep.
I guess it depends on who the player is, but to just kind of pull someone who happens to
Yeah. I mean,
withdraw
that
the NBA draft.
you can have my jersey, Braden. You want some UK swag?
Yeah, we get him some stuff. I've been
We got
trying to.
you.
I mean, I put out the London Strong giveaway thing. You know how many
Uh-huh.
people messaged like commented in my thing for
How
the jersey?
many?
Just wild guess.
5.
One. You overshot
Hey,
it
Brady, go comment
by
on that thing. I want some swag.
I was like, I was like, I'm trying to give like I want to like I love this jersey. Oh shit.
Where is it?
Jeez.
You
Like
good?
oh yeah, this we're good. Um, but yeah, that's right. I told State Line Co folks, I was like, hey, just help me out. We'll get it to somebody.
I
Um,
need to hang my pennants up. They're somewhere.
but and then we got the Kirk Reese jersey, which rest in peace, is now a Cincinnati Bearcat.
Rip. Rip.
Yeah. But that's right. I got my other one. All right. Well, what's yes, I don't know. I don't know who if we get back on track here. I don't know that we go after somebody. But again, Pope has kind of surprised us all the
Pope
way
plays
through.
5D chess. Okay. I'm just gonna trust in Pope at this point. Just whatever Pope says goes, and I'm with it. That's all it is. I'm with it.
Yeah.
I'm with it.
Um,
You wanted to bring up the dirty
so
word. You want to break the
I did.
rules. Why?
Yeah. We'll get on. So all right. Yeah. The last thing I'll say is I do also think that there is going to be not all, but some folks are going to be very surprised what Malachi Moreno brings to this team next year.
If they know ball, they wouldn't be that surprised.
I just think I don't know that it's um, like
I'm just
his
kidding.
talents being slept on. No, I'm seriously. I just think there's the roster is so packed. Like it's easily to forget.
Yeah.
I was on around the shot space like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and they're like, who if Otega doesn't come back, who is like the bucket getter? And I was like, it probably is Jasper, like what he can do offensively. And then I get done with my answer, like, hold on a second. It's Colin Chandler. Like I know, like Jasper Johnson is the good B version, but it's got to be Colin Chandler. Like he's coming back. Like you just forget. Like there's so much talent on this roster.
Yeah. This
Um,
this roster's really deep. So
but Malachi Moreno, I think, is going to be very, very special. for this team and what he can do, play in the 4, the 5, stretch the floor out, and he just I think what I really like about his game is you look at him, and yes, he's 7 foot tall. He's
Mhm.
ginormous, but he's not real thick, right? Like, but he plays very strong. Like he plays like a big
Mhm.
body. Plays
Well,
strong,
he's not thick thick, but he's also not like real thin like we see a lot of these kids out of high school. Like he's got built to him to be 7'1". You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, but
In an
he does
off
play really
season,
strong though.
in an off season where I know like our strength and conditioning program this year, especially for basketball, took like wild shots. I don't know how you blame them for shoulder tears and wrist ligament getting jacked up, but like one thing you can't argue with is like transformation you see for on these kids in an off season. Like they know how to get a diet right and get them in a good muscle pro or a good
Yep.
distance program to put on some lean mass and keep them athletic and quick and whatnot. But yeah, I think an off season, and then but I think Malachi Moreno is going to be pushing. Yeah, we pushing for minutes. I talked about there was going to be a person on the roster who, like, as we got into conference play, fought his way into earning and being kind of getting forced out on the court. And if I had to put money, I would put Malachi as one of those dudes, especially early on if he gets a bunch of PT. While JQ is still trying to get healthy, like if his recovery isn't by September, like we're expecting for him to start the
Mhm.
season, or Pope just wants to slow roll him and they throw Malachi out there to get minutes early on, I think you all of a sudden BBN's gonna be like, holy shit, like this dude is a baller, and then
Yeah.
it's gonna be like find a way to get him on the floor because not only is he a homegrown kid, but he's got the talent to win games.
Mhm. No, I agree.
Okay, so the football news, I you know,
You said the dirty
I
word.
yeah, you know that I am not particularly a fan of of the way things went last year and then trying to
Yeah.
get excited for this season. Like I will get excited when kickoff happens, when the whistle blows and the ball leaves the tee, like I'm going to be excited. The question is how long before that excitement just like tanks and I'm back into like, who's our next coach? Let's raise some money for the buyout. Like, like I hope I don't have to get there. I hope he can just sail off into the sunset with a bowl win and a win of not a a positive record, but who knows? I think that's it's maybe wishful thinking. But this signing here, I don't understand, or not signing, but the contract extension for Wolford, I don't understand why people are so upset about it. You're talking about a dude who was here, and I know he's got some baggage, right? He left us for Bama with the quickness, and we felt betrayed. And then when he came back, like we talked about this on when we went over the O line last year on the offensive
Yeah.
team piece of it that we did the offensive preview. Um, when he came back, we're like, like I don't know how we particularly feel about this. But Nick Saban left, new coaching staff. DeBoer was kind of bringing in his own people. We get Wolford back. And the offensive line last year was absolute Swiss cheese, just terrible. I mean, legit. Like we had a 5-star quarterback, and whether or not you want to put it on him and not be able to see the field, or you want to put on offensive line or both, eventually you get hit that much. It's really hard to keep your eyes upfield and not start looking down at your feet when you know you're just about to get just creamed by an SE
Yep.
size defensive end or linebacker or D tackle. But um, what we know is when Wolford's at South Carolina, his numbers are super impressive. He got there.
Mhm.
He he decreased sack numbers significantly to like single digits in his last season there. With we talk about with the statue of quarterbacks, it wasn't like this dude was able to run around. The run game was impressive, and then he comes to Kentucky, and his last year here, I'm pretty sure we were a finalist for the Joe Moore Award, which is the best offensive line in the country.
Yeah.
So he goes to Bama, he comes back. He wasn't good last year. or the O line wasn't good last year. But again, by the time he got in and who was left over and injuries and kind of put piecing players together on who was going to play center or guard or, trying to kind of figure that out, I think this is when you do the judgment. He went out there in off season. He was able to select like his people, right? His people in the
Mhm.
draft. I'm sorry, in the transfer portal. Um, and returners and whatnot. So it's like, okay, so if he has his dudes in spots that he wants them to play in, and the O line still sucks, terrible contract. But you know what? That probably means this team is a 4 or 5 win team, and that whole staff is gone anyways. So who gives a single damn, right? It's just like I guess I was unclear why everybody was spun up about this. Now I know there were some things on Twitter about him being like he's not a good person. I don't really know much about his like personal background. I'm not getting
Right.
off that, but like as a offensive line coach and as a recruiter, he is known to be one of the best in the country. So if you give him a little bit of contract extension and sprinkle a little bit extra money on top of him, um, to find that him and Mark Stoops can both be motivated this season, I don't know. It's not one of those things
I
where I'm like, oh, what the fuck were we thinking? I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I think it's Stoops trying to create continuity within his coaching staff. There's been so much turnover, right? Like it's let's lock people in for longer than a year, and then kind of see what happens from there. Because think about it, there's been so many offensive coaching changes. It's insane. Like there's no continuity for the program as far as offense goes, because everyone changes. Was it O line coaches, offensive coordinators? I mean, I think this is Duke's way of saying, hey, like I'm here to build this thing. Let's let's start this spot, continuity here, and then kind of move from there.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I could be wrong, and he could just be best friends with him. I don't know.
it could have been a bunch of
Maybe.
things. I don't subscribe to the KSR or the Plus or read so I don't dive into like the articles much. So maybe the extension was based off of. I mean, another school could have been come knock on his door. They wanted to pay him, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But again, he's known to be a very good recruiter. He's
Mm-hmm.
known to be a very good offensive line coach, and like people are still going to him to try to, hey, like X person is entering the portal, these backdoor deals to go, not necessarily to be a Kentucky Wildcat, but to get coached by him because of like his legacies. The dude who we had on a couple months back on the Border Rivals show, former college coach, former high school coach. Last stint was at IMG, coaching O lineman, and it was like when Wolford came to IMG to look at these dudes and like to recruit, it was like, hey, this is a big deal. Like this is the dude, right? He was, and this guy was a massive fan of him. It's like getting feedback. It's like, hey, if Eric Wolford, Coach Wolford tells you something, you put it up here and you remember that for later because like that it means something. So I saw a number like $100,000 plus the contract extension. It's like, who cares? Who cares? Just like let's go play. Let's go play football and see if we can actually win ball games. Because what's the most disappointing thing for this season is I think our best bet is we're this year's Vandy, which sounds so gross to say, but it's like we're this year's Vandy where we're expected to win 4 or 5 games, and we happen to beat Tennessee at home, and we surprise somebody on the road. Like we somehow go to Athens and win that game, and all of a sudden now we're getting talked about, and we have a historical season where we beat some like legacy like great college football programs, and then appreciate JD. We're getting ready to wrap up anyways, but like we at the end of the day, we win some games. And I think it's best case scenario for everything. Like I do hope I'll talk shit about the football season until it kicks off, but I honestly do hope we get an 8 or 9 win season and Stoops can like say, okay, I'm done. I appreciate you. I'll get my statue here in the next 5 to 10 years as the best football coach we've ever had. And it's not a 4 or 5 win season and his
Yeah.
legacy is fully tarnished. That's not what I want because I am a Stoops fan of what he's done for the program. He's given us some couple 10-2 seasons that we'll never forget. Like finally beating Florida, and those sort of things. Like um, he's got Kentucky football memories that we won't forget, generated by his coaching and his staff and the
Right.
players he recruited. So I don't want another terrible season of us chanting "Fire Stoops" at the next home game, and us doing like GoFundMe's on how we can raise $30 million for his buyout or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want that, but I'm scared that's what it's going to be. So I think we'll see
You let
how it
UK
goes.
fans buy a billboard, and I would think about coaches. That's
Yeah,
how mine
yeah,
works over here.
yeah. But I would love nothing than to last year I went high in the right for 10-2. This year I'll pray for 5 wins, and I hope that I'm pleasantly surprised with the season and he gets right off into the sunset. But I don't know. I
We just can't
quarterback
be the new
situation.
Vandy,
I
though,
just
the SUC. Like, we really can't. Like,
oh my gosh, it,
we
you
really
have to
can't.
laugh. It hurts so bad. Do you disagree though? Like,
It's
are
so
we any better than them
embarrassing.
right now? Right?
Huh?
Like, I mean, do you disagree with that statement of
Are
like,
we
are
are we
we?
fighting for last? It's like
I
there's
don't
one
think we're
brain cell. We
that.
got to fight over it.
I don't think that we're that bad. You know, there will always be Arkansas, Oklahoma. Um, they're still trying to figure out how to play in the SEC. Um,
They'll get
you
there,
know,
though.
yeah. How about we just beat South Carolina this year? Let's just start small. Like, so tired losing a Beamer. That
You know
hurt.
what? I will settle for consistently beating Vandy, too, at this point.
Yeah,
Consistently. Like we used to. Not this, losing at home shit that we did before.
yeah, yeah. Remember when it was the narrative was we shouldn't do a blackout game for Vandy because that we're gonna beat Vandy, that they should not get up for this game,
Yep. I remember that. Let's do a blackout
and
game
then
for
we shit
Vandy.
the
The
bed.
colors are black, and
Yeah,
ta-da! That
yeah.
went swimmingly for us.
And then you jinxed the Florida game because you said we never beat backup quarterbacks, and you were correct. So
Yo, that's just literally what happens every time there's backup quarterback.
I know,
like,
yeah,
like every time.
I know. So I'm slowly, yes. Okay, I was just about to say I was slowly delaying until we crested the 1,000 people mark, and we just did it. So
Did we?
thank you for those. Yep, thank you for those last 9 people that just
Aww.
joined. But I honestly don't know if I have anything else to talk about. So I think
I don't
that's it.
either. I mean, to be fair. Hey, talk about what's coming up.
I feel like I'm on a pop quiz right now.
What? Seriously, I moved my appointment for you.
Oh,
And
Friday. Yes,
Jesus.
yes. There was like I'm thinking like what's coming up. Like I got a lot. So we are gonna be fortunate enough to have an interview. We're gonna record it on Friday, and then we'll post out later that day with Dwayne Peavy, athletic director, vice president of operation. I think is how the title is for DePaul, and former jack of all trades for Kentucky athletics. Ended his time as a deputy director of athletics, or and then operator of day-to-day operations. Was really tied into the basketball program. Was here during the Cal reign. So bringing him on and being here in 2012 for the championship, and he always talked about in his interviews that he stays tied into how Kentucky's doing. So interested to see how he feels the vibe is, because when Cal came here in 9 with John Wall, Cousins, and really just revitalized the program, and Pope, kind of has done the same thing. As there was kind of a staleness and frustration around the end of the Cal era. And then I also want to talk to him about his time at Kentucky versus his time now as athletic director and dealing with NIL, and how to navigate that, and being the Big East. Is it an advantage to not have football team and you can just focus all that money on basketball, and those sort of things. So and then I won't ask him directly, but I will say I know there's a lot of BBN who is when Mitch decides to hang it up, will be the first on a lot of people's list to make his
Yeah.
return to be the athletic director here. But yeah, that's going to be exciting. Shout out to Roy Combs for being that conduit and connecting us. He said, "Hey, do you think
Shout out to Roy. I got
do
to
you
text him
think
later
you
and tell him
want
thank you.
Dwayne Peavy on your show?" And I was like, "Yes, yeah, absolutely."
Yes.
So I got his
Yes.
email.
Of course.
I shot him an email, and like 2 weeks later, his assistant emailed me back and said, "Hey, Dwayne's at the Big East conference, but he'd like to come on next week." And I was like, "Did not expect to actually get a return, but this is awesome. So let's go ahead and get this scheduled." So, yeah, gonna be excited to have him on the show. So that'll go out Friday. It'll be me, T, and Selena asking him some questions. So unfortunately, we'll have to let the Tennessee fans Tennessee fan get a few in, but hopefully Dwayne Peavy has a couple of shots he throws at him for being a volunteer and rocking that ugly ass orange.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, Selena, how about let's try to not have a full like damn near month before we do a show, even though there's not a lot of news going on. I know
There
our
isn't.
the the lives are moving at a crazy high rate right now, but this is fun for me getting on here talk ball with you, reading the comments, um, but engage with BBN, and I think by next week we'll have well, I know by next week we'll have something to talk about as far as what the final roster looks like with
Yeah.
Otega, either
Yeah.
back in the blue and white or staying in the league.
We'll see. It'll be interesting. Also, shout out to the baseball team. You're in the tournament. Yay!
Yes,
This was
let's see if we
signed
can
by
make it.
players last year.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let's see if we can maybe make a run. It was exciting to get there last year, but now we've already been there. Let's actually go win some games.
Yeah, we're not rookies anymore.
Yeah, I think I've watched the Louisville game, and the Tennessee game, and I've not been really tied into the stick and ball sport this year, to be quite honest. But we're in Omaha now, so I'll definitely watch an excuse to watch Kentucky play and an excuse to have a adult beverage in my hand. So why not?
Well, we need excuses for those now. Oh, not bad. I just like I want to.
You don't need one. It's just helpful, I think.
You'll look better. Like
people don't judge you
my
as
cat's
much.
a play. I'm gonna go. I need a beverage to go with it. Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
Exactly right. Selena, as always,
Yep.
it's great to talk to you. Hey, last thing, if you haven't already, if you can, hit up the State Line Co. folks or whatever you can do to donate, give things out, maybe even just it's some hard labor on a weekend to help clear up a Laurel County and London, Kentucky, close to home. For me, know people that live in that area, so kind of crazy. No one deserves to have that done to them, but like the way Kentucky just has just been in it the last couple of years with people who unfortunately don't have a bunch of money, don't have a lot of resources, and it just seems unfair. But one thing we know is the people who live in that state are fucking tough. They're strong, and the shit ain't gonna beat them down. But they could use some help right now. So if you can help them out, we would. Everybody there would greatly appreciate it. London strong, go Cats.